Hello, everyone, and welcome to Purdue Day of Giving. My name is Joe Rust, a senior studying agribusiness management.
And I'm Erin Whitaker, a senior studying quantitative, agricultural economics, and French.
And we are honored today to have someone who's brought his Southern hospitality right here to the Purdue College of Agriculture, making it home for thousands of students, staff, and faculty. The Glenn W. Sample Dean of College of Agriculture, Dr. J. Akridge.
And we're looking forward to receiving questions from you guys, our viewers. You can forward them to Purdue Day of Giving at purdue.edu.
So during this online event, we're going to be talking a lot about Purdue College of Agriculture, Purdue Moves, but specifically with how this research initiative within the College of Agriculture can move forward for the world's needs. So let's get started with the first question, Dean Akridge. What are some of these initiatives, and what's an overview of this research that the College of Agriculture is focusing on?
Sure, Joe. Yeah, glad to be here today, but we'd like to think about 6 broad themes of research in our portfolio. One of those is around addressing this whole issue of global food security, and a second area is around the idea of putting the tools of molecular biology to work to really expand what's possible in agricultural production. We talk about the whole idea of enhancing foods and health, in particular working to ensure our food supply is safe, as well as looking at nutritional composition and health benefits of food products. We talk about enhancing the bioeconomy. Our faculty work on issues related to renewable energy. They work on issues of products from renewable feedstocks. We work on issues of environmental integrity and this whole idea of the ecological footprint of agriculture. And this really captures the broad issue of sustainability, preservation, management, utilization of natural resources. And the last area is this area of facilitating enhanced decision making. So working with policymakers, individuals, simply to help them make more informed and better decisions.
Why is plant science research so important? Why now?
Sure. Yeah, it's a really important question, and I mentioned the first theme of our research portfolio is really the idea of dealing with food security. And so you talk to people who, demographers who are focused on forecasting global population year 2050, and they talk about 9+ billion people being on our planet then, up from about 7 billion people today. So you've got roughly 2 billion more mouths to feed. But you also, looking forward, see economies in developing parts of the world continuing to improve. And one of the first things that happens when an economy improves is that the people improve their diets. So you put these factors together, and we're talking about needing 70 to 100% more food by the year 2050. And there's a lot of different ways that, a lot of different approaches, strategies, moves it's going to take to address that. But one of them that's going to happen is improved plants. Plants that yield more, plants that respond better under climatic variability, plants that use water more efficiently, plants that have more and improved nutritional qualities. And so this big move is really focused on this idea of plant improvement, ultimately to help feed a growing world.
Is there some examples of specific past success we've had with the research in plant science?
Sure. There's a lot of possibilities, but one story that at least some viewers would be familiar with is that of our 2009 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Gebisa Ejeta. That's the Nobel Prize of Agriculture, and Purdue is fortunate to be home to 2 World Food Prize winners. The other was Phil Nelson, who won the prize in 2007 for his work on post-harvest storage and handling of food. But Gebisa is a plant breeder. He's a distinguished professor of plant breeding in the college, and he particularly works on sorghum. And sorghum is an important food crop, especially in Africa. His prize was really for 2 developments. One, he developed sorghum varieties that were more resistant, more tolerant of drought and heat stress, which of course is a big problem in that part of the world. But perhaps the more scientifically interesting breakthrough that Gebisa made with his collaborators, there's a really challenging weed pest called striga or witchweed. It's a really devastating problem to the farmers of Africa. And it's so challenging because the seed of the striga or the witchweed plant can lay in the ground for up to 20 years, dormant. And they don't germinate until a host plant germinates nearby. So once the sorghum plant begins to germinate, the striga attacks it below the soil, and by the time that plant has emerged from the soil, the damage is already done, and the African farmer's crop is going to be cut by as much as 50%. Gabisa's work really was to understand the very complex biochemistry between the striga plant and its host, the sorghum, and then to breed resistance and tolerance into sorghum varieties. And again, those improved varieties now are helping feed millions on the African continent.
Is there a specific geographic area where it's more important or the need is greater?
Yeah, so certainly in parts of the world where we have growing populations and again challenging environmental conditions, Africa, Asia would be a particular focus. But when people start to ask the question, where will we get 70 to 100% more food going forward? Usually the answer boils down to both in developing countries, maybe as much as half will come from improved production practices, improved plants in those parts of the world, but 40 to 50% is likely to come from developed parts of the world, like U.S., like Indiana, who will be called on to produce more. So in the end, this plant science initiative really needs to address both the needs of our farmers in the U.S. as well as those around the world.
So how do you think this this research and some of the past successes and the opportunities ahead will impact students?
Yeah. So this whole plant science research initiative has got students embedded throughout. So one element of this Big Moves investment is a pre-college program. It's interesting. We have currently more jobs than we have students right now in the whole area of plant sciences, plant-based agriculture. And so we'll have a part of this Big Moves investment will be a 2-week pre-college experience to help bring rising juniors and seniors to campus to give them really an immersive experience in some of the really exciting science that's happening in this space, and ideally help move some of those folks potentially into majors that would be tied to the plant sciences area. There'll be, of course, an undergrad research fellowship program that will help individual students who want to engage in plant science research while they're students at Purdue to do that. There's a piece of it that's around upgrading some teaching lab space to convert some existing labs into much more experiential focused molecular genetics spaces that'll help us again teach at an entirely different level. And finally, I think just the whole Big Moves initiative, it's going to bring some additional faculty to our campus. There's going to be some other investments in facilities and equipment, and that's just going to create more and better environment for our students broadly.
Yeah, sure. That's really exciting. I mean, I've never been able to conduct research. I know, Aaron, you have, right? You've done some research through your major.
I did a research my entire college career actually with an advisor, and it's really impacted my experience and helped my technical writing and things like that. So that's really exciting to see that that's going to be more of an opportunity for other students.
That's fantastic. And that's exactly what we hope to recreate with other students and more students through the Big Moves investment. Yeah.
Beyond that, though, I think just the idea of building the brand of Purdue and the College of Agriculture. A while ago, you were talking about Gabisa Jetta. I'm pretty proud of the College of Agriculture. So when I'm going to other Big Ten universities, I'm quick to brag about winning world food prizes here at the College of Agriculture. We're making a difference not just for a university or alum, but the entire world. So I think those are some pretty impactful things that I love to brag about, and I'm glad we're able to brag about them today, too, for Purdue Day of Giving.
Definitely. What are some exciting components of your planned research and education pipeline?
Yeah, so it really breaks up into 4 big pieces, if you will. The first piece is an investment in basic plant biology. So there's some faculty positions, 10 new faculty positions in very, very basic plant science. So these are the people who try to understand at the most fundamental level how plants grow. So how does a plant respond to, again, a highly variable environment? How does a plant use water or nutrients? You have to answer some of these questions before you can start to, again, make improvements. The second piece is a translational piece, a genome engineering piece, where we move those developments from the laboratory into commercially important plants, corn, soybean, sorghum, horticultural crops, trees. The third component actually is going on at the agronomy farm, the Agronomy Center for Research and Education. And it's a very, very exciting part. Anymore, the developments in sequencing allow us to really identify what the genome of the plant is, and at a much lower cost and much faster than we ever could before. What folks that are involved in plant breeding and genetics and genomics really want to know is how those genes express themselves in field conditions. And there's a substantial investment at our agronomy farm that's going to help us do that on a real-time basis. And the fourth and final component is one that's around commercialization, entrepreneurship, and our students. Ultimately, if there are discoveries made, and we fully expect that there would be, you've got to move them into the world, and either through licensing, sale, or gifts, to make sure they're available to, again, farmers around the world. And also this piece that I mentioned earlier, enriching the student experience throughout, because we would like to turn out young men and women in this space that truly are exposed to this process here and can hit the ground running wherever they choose to go at an entirely different pace than maybe we can today.
Sure. Let's change the direction a little bit and look at maybe animal science. That's another pretty big component of the College of Agriculture. Kind of what are some initiatives going around with the animal science and the planned ag and life science building that's coming up?
Sure. So, yeah, the Animal Science Department is our largest in the college, so more than 600 undergraduates looking to study veterinary medicine ultimately, or move on into grad school or serve the animal agriculture industry. So it's an exciting undergrad program for us, and a very, very important one. It's also an exciting extension program for us, because the livestock industries, the animal ag industries are very important in this state. So part of our role in that department is to serve the state through our extension activities. Research-wise, they've got a number of different strengths. Animal well-being is one of those. We have the largest group of individuals working on animal welfare, animal well-being issues in the country. When you bring our Animal Sciences Department, our College of Veterinary Medicine, and the Ag Research Services Livestock Behavior Research Unit together, and we just created a Center for Animal Welfare Science to bring that group together and help move that work forward, and a very, very important issue in animal production. And then there's people that work on a variety of issues inside the department, from reproductive issues to production issues to meat science, understanding how an animal, lays down muscle and what that means for making a better animal. So again, it's an important unit in our college, and one that we're excited about. And as you mentioned, Joe, we're in the process of working right now to find them a new home. So the wing of Lilly that they occupy doesn't exist in the long-term master plan of Purdue. So it's a space that's really served us well, but it's outlived its useful life, and it's going to need to come down someday. So we're working to raise the money right now to build a new animal science building called the Ag and Life Science Building.
Are there other areas of campus outside of the College of Agriculture that are included in advancing plant science research?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's a really important question, because we talk often. This Plant Sciences Initiative will be successful if we exploit the collaborations and partnerships that are possible. And so, as we talk about an idea like this, what I shared earlier about what's going on at our agronomy farm, what they're ultimately trying to do is to really measure what's happening with each and every growing plant on that farm. Because what a researcher wants to know is, how fast is that plant growing? What's the leaf canopy look like? How much water and nutrients is it using? How much light's it reflecting? And what they ideally want to know is what that looks like for every single plant on the farm. And one way we can get to that is by using unmanned aerial vehicles loaded with sensors that fly that crop regularly, taking a multitude of readings. And I like to share the example. We have an 8-acre section that we have soybean research trials on. There's about 1 million plants just on those 8 acres. And we're talking about taking georeferenced readings of each and every plant multiple times a day potentially. So you can get, and there's 1,100 acres on the agronomy farm. So you get some idea of how much data we're ultimately talking about collecting here. So our Department of Computer Science has publicly stated that ag is one of their areas of focus, because to manage, to make sense of that quantity of data, and we talk a lot about the big data issue in agriculture, it's going to take individuals such as those in our computer science department to help us do that. The sensors that we're talking about using, again, a great opportunity to partner with our College of Engineering. You start thinking about nutritional profiles of plants, and pretty quickly you're into health and human sciences and nutrition science. So, and I could keep going, frankly. Technology, again, they have work in aviation tech and unmanned aerial vehicles. So we think that this particular platform really creates linkages across the campus.
Yeah, and not only bringing colleges together, we want to help bring students together. We talked a little bit about, opportunities for students, and maybe specifically within the plant science area. There's initiatives to help develop student leaders within that initiative. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Well, as a college, we're very focused on that whole area of leadership development, as is, of course, Purdue University. Again, one way we want to do that in the context of the plant sciences is to really try to expose students to all the components of this idea of improved plants. I mean, so that a student leaving here understands the fact that basic science is really critical to to moving us forward in this area. They understand this need for transformation kinds of activities to ultimately move that discovery into a commercially important plant, and ultimately even understanding the entrepreneurship and commercialization pieces. So we're very much going to be promoting the entrepreneurship and innovation certificate program as part of this initiative. There'll be courses in agricultural economics that will be part of that as well. And another area that we've just launched as a college is a program we're calling Issues 360. And it's aimed at our sophomore students, and it ultimately helps College of Agriculture students engage in conversations about controversial issues. And many times when we roll out technological developments, exactly how they're going to be received by society can create situations where, as a student, we need to be prepared to understand our values, again, the values of others, and how to engage in a productive dialogue. So there's really a lot of elements of this that I think Joe will be focused on building student leadership.
Well, that's great. I think Aaron and I, we both have been very involved in all kinds of student organizations, specifically within the College of Ag as well, including the Leadership Development Certificate Program. That's something I've really enjoyed over the past 4 years here at Purdue, and that's a value that's going to add on to my experience and my degree as I go on.
I think it's an understatement to say you two have been involved.
We get excited, I guess. One thing leads to another.
Exactly. Can't stop. So during Purdue Moves last September, President Daniels announced a $20 million investment in the College of Agriculture. Will you talk about the impact that will have on our college?
Sure. Yeah, I think as we think about rolling out this plant research and education pipeline, again, it certainly includes some additional faculty, which give us new capacity in that space. What I'm excited about is, one, it's a very targeted investment in facilities and improvements. So we're going to upgrade what we have as opposed to build new in many cases, and that's going to allow people to do work that they just couldn't do before. We're certainly excited about the student component because we think it's going to enrich our student experience. And I haven't said much yet about the extension component, of what we do as a college, but I think our position is the more we know about how plants grow, the more we're going to be able to work with our Indiana farmers about how to grow plants. I mean, if we're the place that's helping create some of these innovations, then we can also be the place to help, again, our farmers understand how to best utilize them. So that's certainly a big piece as well. And also important, we very much talk about this as a platform investment. Some of these monies are definitely starting in our college. But again, this will be successful if we partner with other colleges on the campus, if we partner with industry, if we partner with our state, and it's that whole element that I think we get really excited about.
So what about beyond the other colleges and even beyond our state? Are there other universities in the U.S. that are focusing on similar issues that we've been talking about?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the issue of feeding a growing world would be front and center for many of our land-grant universities. I mean, and each one has its own unique strengths and weaknesses and areas of focus. So that theme is common. What I think is unusual here is this very targeted investment in a particular area. You see big investments going into places for buildings and other kinds of infrastructure, but it's rare, I think, to see an investment in programmatic activities, again, some facilities, some faculty, to really move a particular area forward. And so that to me is unique. I haven't seen that, and I think that's what makes this Big Moves investment so exciting. What
do you think of when you think of our reputation as the College of Agriculture?
That's a good question. Maybe it's more important what the viewers think about their reputation. So there's an old joke that goes, the reputation of Purdue agriculture grows with every mile from the Wabash River. And there's a little bit of maybe truth to that. We work really to serve the state, and that's a critical part of who we are. But last year, our faculty worked in about 60 countries around the world. So really, this global footprint is something that's really been important to our college as well. Most recent global rankings of food and agriculture colleges had Purdue Agriculture number 8 in the world. So we're excited about being a top 10 college, and obviously thinking about how we can be better. But I think rankings, metrics aside, I would hope people think of us like they would think of Purdue as a place where the people, the faculty, staff, and students here make a difference in all they do. I mean, we work on important problems in our college, just as many of the other colleges do on our campus, and ultimately those things are important to society. And I think we want to be known as a place that tackles important issues and makes a difference with the solutions we bring to the table.
And yeah, when you see those commercials for Purdue, it's saying what we do matters, what we do moves the world forward. I think everything we've been talking about has definitely touched on that, and even being a part of the College of Agriculture with research and extension and all those type of things, I'm just pretty proud to be a part of it. You know, it's one of those great things that the College of Ag does.
Definitely.
Yeah. So looking at private giving, what does private giving kind of mean to you? I mean, you've interacted with a lot of donors, I'm sure, that help support the College of Agriculture, even businessmen that you've helped with extension and things like that over the past years. What does that private giving mean to you?
Sure. You know, I think it means the difference between being good and being great at what we do, because you know, the budget we get from tuition dollars from the state is fundamentally important to everything we're about at Purdue and in our college. But it's those private dollars that let us go above and beyond, again, what tuition and our state support provides. And so things like endowed chairs make possible recruiting and retaining the very best faculty, you know, in the world. Scholarship dollars help us recruit students, you know, of highest caliber and or students who wouldn't be here any other way. And making something possible that couldn't happen otherwise. I mean, you both have benefited from a variety of experiential learning activities, many of which have been sponsored by a company, an organization, an individual who made a field trip possible, made going to the Ag Futures of America conference possible. I mean, these experiences enrich, I think, a student's overall Purdue experience, and again, don't happen unless we have those kind of dollars. Undergrad research, study abroad scholarships, and then and finally, even dollars that let us invest in interesting programs and ideas that faculty have, because funding agencies usually want to invest in a concept that's proven. Well, you need some monies to help prove the concept to even get started. So for me, I think these private dollars, whether they're coming from companies or individuals, NGOs, foundations, simply help us take a good program and make it great.
What kind of gifts are really needed?
Yeah, well, all kinds. I mean, and I think sometimes people get focused on it's only the really big gifts that matter. And it's just, nothing could be further from the truth, because we certainly are raising money for a building, and if any viewer has $10 million that they want to put their name on this, we'll be glad to talk to them. But at the same time, I mean, when we're talking about sending a student on a public policy internship to Washington D.C., $3,000 will do that, and even hundreds of dollars will help us maybe sponsor a student dinner or an activity, refreshments at a student club. So again, or a variety of other kinds of activities. So frankly, we talk about dollars for endowed chairs for faculty support, dollars for scholarships matter, dollars for experiential learning activities matter, dollars for programmatic support matter. And so I would hope that our donors would look at this and know, one, that their gift matters no matter how large or small, and two, that we're going to do all we can to really steward it and put it to work in the most effective way possible.
When I think about a large donation that's given to specifically the College of Ag, I can't help to think of just over a year ago, we were down in Florida together, you remember?
We were.
And I got caught tweeting an announcement that was supposed to come out the following Monday. It was a Saturday night, and Mitch Daniels announced the largest private donation ever given to Purdue, and it was an anonymous donation, and I was just ecstatic as a student, so I got on my phone. I did what any other person of my generation and posted it online. And right after the dinner, getting calls left and right from the Exponent, the JNC, the Indianapolis Star, wanting a quote on this donation, and I ignored all of them. But I think the Indianapolis Star did run a story, according to Facebook, of Joe Rust. Purdue receives the largest private donation. Of course, it happened to be sitting close to you on the airplane when we're leaving on Sunday. So thanks for giving me grief about that. Of course, I deserved a little bit.
Welcome to social media.
Yeah. But I think that tells us a little bit about the kind of the people in the past that believe in Purdue. What does that tell us about what people are believing in Purdue now?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's got maybe different motives for philanthropy, and certainly in some kinds it is looking back and thinking about the fact that individual received a scholarship and they want to provide a similar opportunity for a current student. Sometimes I think it's driven by, and ultimately maybe driven by, just a passion for the work that's going on, and the fact that faculty and staff are doing really exciting things, and the students are doing exciting things, and they want to support that and be a part of it. And so I think there's a variety of motives I think that people bring to the table, but ultimately I think they're trying to help make the college better, provide richer opportunities for our students, help the faculty, again, do things they couldn't do otherwise, because ultimately they believe in the bigger purpose of what Purdue University is all about and what we're trying to accomplish at this place.
Going back to believing in the College of Agriculture too, according to last year, we had huge funds for scholarships. What's your secret?
Oh, I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any secret. I mean, I think. Well, one, we do have a terrific development team, and I think one of the things they do is really work with our donors to make them aware of opportunities. And there were some interesting matching programs last year that were available. And when matching programs are out there, they're a terrific way for a donor, to lever their investment. And many companies have matching programs. And so sometimes it's helping, especially young alumni, even recognize that those matching programs are available to them, and because they can do a lot sometimes with a fairly modest investment. But I do think, our college, like again, across Purdue, very focused on the undergrad experience. And I think when people have had a good experience while they were students, they want to help, again, facilitate that for future students. And so for us, the scholarship conversation has been one that our donors believe in students, they believe in that next generation, and they get pretty excited about supporting them. So I think, probably all of those things came together to help us have a good year scholarship-wise, and it's an awfully important form of philanthropy.
So I just heard before we began that the College of Ag is in third place right now, behind the College of Engineering.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of competitions going on with Purdue Day of Giving. How do you think the College of Ag is going to do today? We're going to win any of these competitions?
We may be starting slow, but we're going to sprint to the finish here. So I have a lot of confidence in our College of Ag donors, and we'll finish strong.
Good.
Well, at this point, we're going to move on to some live questions that have been coming through during this segment. The first one is, how do industry partners support Ag's work in plant science research?
Sure. Yeah, one of the exciting pieces of the plant science research and education pipeline is that I think it gives us a different set of capabilities to work with industry on. So, many times you go to industry for support for a project, and you maybe need resources from them, and that's where the conversation starts. Currently, we're starting from a conversation that says Purdue's already made a substantial investment in this space. This is what we want to accomplish with the money that Purdue has invested. With your investment, with your partnership, we can take this further. So I think it's a different level of conversation, and we've had really good conversations with people around the country. Another thing that resonates with our industry partners is the whole issue of human talent. I mean, we simply are not producing enough folks that work in the plant sciences, plant agriculture right now, and there's a need. And so investments that help them both prepare more students and better students, or have students better prepared, are things they can get excited about. So we've had really positive conversations with industry on different ways that they can partner, and some of those are obvious, like the companies that get involved in plant agriculture, like Dow AgriSciences or Beck's or AgReliant Genetics, all here in Indiana. But we've got some really interesting things going on in the data area with people like Verizon that you wouldn't normally think of, but as soon as one starts talking about moving large amounts of data, then all of a sudden companies like that get involved. The equipment companies, of course, play a big role here. So frankly, the set of industry partners is pretty exciting. And along that same line, right now in Indiana, there's a big initiative that is coming from the state called the Indiana Food and Ag Innovation Initiative. And it's a collection of industry, university, and state government partners really looking to make Indiana a national hub of food and ag research. And so exciting things happening there. One of our alumna, Beth Begdahl, is helping lead that initiative. And I think it's just the Plant Sciences Initiative is just absolutely aligned with the big things happening in our state too. So it's absolutely the right time to be doing this.
That's great. Another question we have came in, how have Ag alums responded to Purdue moves and Ag's move in plant science research?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think very positively. I mean, as you would expect, I think they're excited about what's currently happening. And I mean, right now we have 70 faculty at a minimum, 100 faculty if you get it more expansive, people working in this area. So it's an important area to the college anyway. And so what we can do with this investment moving forward, I think, makes it even more exciting. And certainly one of the messages to our ag alums is that while there's this big focus on plants, we work in a lot of other areas, and certainly the Animal Science Project is an exciting one that we're working on right now, and you can pretty much work through every department in terms of things that we're trying to do to make our undergrad program better, our research portfolio more robust, and our extension programs more impactful. And so this becomes a bit of a door opener for a conversation that we can talk about plants, but also some of the other exciting things happen in the college.
And that kind of leads us into our last question, which I really like. What would you say to young people who are interested in attending Purdue and might be interested in the College of Agriculture?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot. So I think we only got half an hour or so.
Maybe like a little
so
short version.
The short version. So, I think one thing is just the breadth of opportunity. I think we're blessed with the name College of Agriculture, but it's also limiting to many. The first thing they think of with agriculture is those corn and soybean fields they drive by, in their county or off the interstate, and that part of our industry is fundamentally important to us. But students in our college do everything from, work on issues of food safety and designing and developing new food products in food science to working with communities and becoming landscape architects or working on woodlands management and working in forestry. And 30% of our students go on to graduate or professional school in some discipline. A lot move off into ag business in a whole variety of areas like the two of you are looking to do or get involved in policy issues. So, and I could keep going. I mean, entomology, the pest area, it's a really interesting breadth of opportunities. And of course, ag and biological engineering opens up a whole range of things in that space. So that breadth of opportunity and helping students see that if they have a passion for business, they have a passion for science, they have a passion for policy, there's just a lot of need for again, young men and women that are well prepared and excited and passionate. And I think it's a college like Purdue where there's a real focus on undergrad education and a terrific place to be if you want a high impact experience.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for a lot of your answers and your time today. For our listeners and viewers right now, it's really important that you go to the Purdue Day of Giving website, hit the Donate Now button. I believe we're still in third, and the College of Agriculture is definitely better than the third place college. So it's very important to get active. Tell your friends on Facebook, tell your family, make sure everyone's getting involved to help build up the Purdue College of Agriculture and Purdue in general. So another thing we're going to end with here really quick is a tradition to celebrate the Purdue Day of Giving is a rapid fire quiz. Not too long ago, I did one with President Daniels and asked him a series of questions about Purdue and which one he would choose. And I think Aaron here is now going to ask you these questions and see what kind of responses we get from you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, let's go. Black or gold?
Black.
Smokestack or the Purdue Bell Tower?
I've been here a long time, smokestack.
Slater Hill, sledding or concert?
Oh, concert.
Purdue Mall Fountain or Loeb Fountain?
Loeb Fountain.
Boilermaker Special or Purdue Pete?
Oh, I like the train, Boilermaker Special.
Springfest Bug Bowl, cockroach racing or cricket spitting?
Oh, cricket spitting.
Or eating?
Yeah, avoid that.
Purdue Day of Giving, give back or pay it forward?
Oh, I think I like pay it forward.
There we go. Thank you. And I think
Thank you so much.
Today is a day about paying forward and about giving back. So make sure you get involved in some way, shape, or form. If you're a student, maybe you don't have money, go write a thank you card. Tell your friends, tell your parents to get involved with Purdue Day of Giving. It is an exciting day, and we're excited to be here with the Dean of the College of Agriculture. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Joe Rust.
I'm Aaron Whitaker.
Boiler up.